Here we go. We are live. We're here, episode 10. We made double digits. And I'm going to let Mr. Moorhead himself give the introduction of who we got.
Yeah, I'm truly honored that you came on our show tonight, Alex. You've been one of my favorite players. Your whole career, your energy is pretty infectious. And I think your story is cool too. You jumped on the scene as a kid by, winning Mustangs at the Mustang Challenge to kind of changing the landscape of paintball, both on and off the field with the, numerous wins and maybe even more the wins, the amount of companies you've started and ventures you've started in this sport. So I'm sure a lot more than you ever expected to, but it's just awesome to have you here. And you're a great person that I enjoy talking to. So I'm excited to share this night with you.
Well, thanks for thinking of me, guys. I'm glad you guys started this up. Two great people, especially you, Ryan. I've known you forever. And, one of the few guys I haven't got a chance to play with that I've always wanted to. So, mad respect.
Yeah, for sure. We've played against each other for so long, even on all the all-star games or everything. So it definitely would be nice to play with each other someday, even if it's on a 10-man field or wherever. I'd love that.
We'll get it done.
Yeah, for sure. Since you mentioned that, though, like one of the chances we could have played together was probably one of my favorite memories in paintball was the Legends game that we ran for Tim, the all-star game in the ICC. Really thank you for doing that with me, but that was such like a cool experience for me because not only did it bridge the gap over all the generations, but having that schoolyard draft and just sitting there and getting to break down players from all those years and putting them together to play on a team. That was a truly special moment for me, even more so, doing it in honor of Tim. So thanks.
Totally. And yeah, certainly one of the highlights of my career was just sitting there with all those legendary players. Yeah. And also doing it for Tim because I really do believe it was like one of those things that he would have just loved. Like he would have been super stoked on that. And even in the game itself, like it was like back and forth, kind of bloodbath, a little bit of dirtiness, a little bit of shit talking, like the whole thing. Is that anywhere on film?
Go Sports filmed it. Did they? And I haven't watched it in a while, but I remember even after it was done, like Chad came back to my house to spend the night. He was there for a couple of days. We were hanging out and we rewatched it like right after it happened because we both like still kind of had chills in a way of how cool it was to be part of it. It was crazy too because so many of those guys acted like it didn't matter to them. And I'm not talking about the guys who got picked or didn't get picked, but even after we're rounding them up. It's like people, you start worrying, are like people are going to take it seriously? Rich is like, oh, I'm too old. Like, I don't want to play. I don't want to play. And then as soon as you make that first lineup, everyone's so stoked. Everyone's yelling at each other, bonus ball each other. Yeah.
Lasoya was 3 sheets though. I was like, where's Lasoya? Where's Lasoya?
Lasoya was talking a lot of trash before those games. And I think I shot him those first 2 points. He was like, your guy's first death.
He was in a bad way that day.
But it was just awesome seeing everyone play together. And like I said, like the amount of competition that came from that was pretty cool. So
we got to do it again sometime.
100% agree. And maybe next time we'll let some other people be captain. So maybe we could get picked on the same team.
There you go.
But yeah, it was just, that was a really special time.
And like you said, won, right?
We did, but obviously
everybody was a winner.
That first game we won fair and square. The second game you guys won fair and square. The third game was mayhem.
Yeah,
and we ended up winning it, but no matter who won, it wasn't going to be fair and square.
I think you guys won the mayhem though.
Yeah. And we did make that third game the 15-on-15 too, so like everyone could play. Yeah. I think Adam bunkering Chad might have been one of my favorite moments in that.
Oh yeah, that snake thing, that was pretty dope. And then also we had like JR was playing and Nikki and like all those guys balled out in that game. I feel like
for sure. Poopy was doing good. And man, it's like you said, sometimes things get hidden, even if they're available somewhere. It's like you don't know where to find them, or they kind of get lost. Sure. Like I wish there was, more people knew about these things.
What year was that? 22.
20. It might have been 21.
21.
Yeah, because it was the year we came back from it. So yeah.
I have my picture right here. I'll show you. Well, I got a couple of things that I got this that Sam gave me. I got it hanging up. I never put it on.
Oh yeah.
It was hanging up here for me to look at, and then I got this picture. I'll just move my computer, but it's oh shit. me see here. Uh-oh. Did I lose you guys?
No, you're still good.
There you
go. Right there, I got my picture of Tim at the Mounds Field.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorites.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
and even the real event that year, like, I would have loved to have won it, but almost getting second, and then the weather, and then the rain just downpouring on us. Like, it was kind of fitting because, you know, me and Tim had gotten a lot of seconds together. We won a lot together too, but there was a period of time where we got a lot of seconds. So I even felt that was fitting.
When you were on the All A's?
Yeah, on the All A's. I mean, we also guested on so many teams in Europe and things, but yeah, seconds at World Cups, quite a few of them. And
dude, some of my favorite were watching you guys beat the Ironman in those All A's days.
Yeah.
Like it was always, I came down to you guys a lot, and I was just like, dude, I couldn't stand the Ironman. I still can't stand the Ironman. But I mean, it was like Oliver had left the team. I just, and you guys were like kind of like my champions if we got knocked out, which was most of the time.
In 2008, like they definitely had our number, but then in 2009, it like completely switched. So we both got to be on both sides of that rivalry, which was really cool. And
that was a good rivalry. It really was.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, like All Americans are cool to me because I felt like me and Tim and a lot of the original guys were able to change the kind of way that team was thought about, because like all the guys before were legends and, you know, great players and won a lot, but they were so separate from the rest of the industry that they were, I mean, and they were kind of nerds. So everyone
and that's the thing. That's so funny. Like, I actually had this conversation with Yosh like a little while ago about All Americans and how like they were known as like the dorky kind of nerdy guys, which maybe they were, but they were like really into paintball, really. Right? But they were really the kind of like the rebels, like in a lot of ways. Like you looked at like, okay, yeah, Aftershock and Iron Man, and those guys were like the bad, you know, kind of like villains of the game. Sure. Not even in that way, like the rebels, right? Yeah. But it wasn't. It was All A's actually who were the rebels, right?
Yeah, I think it was a good mix because it was so tribal back then. Like there was almost, they were all rebels. It was more like a bunch of roving gangs and like Mad Max times, you know? So it wasn't like good guys and bad guys. They were all kind of bad rebels.
But the more I've gotten to know like Adam and the guys over there, the more I realize like they are really like the good guys of the industry and of the sport in a lot of ways, you know. Other than that stupid lawsuit they got in with WDP, but I mean, because there was no winner there. I mean, maybe they were right, whatever, but either way,
there definitely wasn't a winner in the lawsuit except for the lawyers. The lawyers won plenty in that.
That's typical.
It's tricky because you look at paintball and it's our passion, and you want to look at it just from that lens, like what's the best. But then you have to look at it from company lenses too, especially with the amount of companies you own as well. Like you have to protect your intellectual property to some extent, and it just gets messy in something that you don't want to be messy, something that you just want to love.
Totally. Dude, I'm feeling your bookshelf back there. I can't really see
I appreciate it. It's got little trinkets here and there.
Yeah, it's pro your setup.
Yeah. My wife.
Hal, come on, you got to do better, bro. Let's go.
I know, I'm awful.
Well, to be fair, Hal's just coming off of surgery, so he's up in his room more or less right now. So
yep. So, but
he just got a bunch of titanium out of his leg, so he was kind of bedridden for a while.
Oh, they took it out?
Yeah. Come to find out, so I've had this plate in there for 11 years now, and they, actually, let's see, you can see it.
They let you keep it.
Yeah, they let me keep it, but it was a 10-inch plate. 8 screws were in my leg. It was in there for so long that most of the screws actually broke off when they were trying to remove them. So they had to file them down and they're just going to let the bone heal over them. They got 2 screws out in the plate, but come to find out, what's up?
So it was an unplanned thing. Like they didn't, when they installed it, they weren't putting it in to take it out later.
Pretty much. He said, if you have to, it's causing you problems, you can, your bone's going to be healed. So it'll be fine. Come to find out, what's causing all my pain is that I had a nerve going over the plate. And so that plate, anytime I would do anything, walk, run, work out, squat down, stand up, like I just have this shooting pain. So that was.
So you're feeling better now though?
Yeah, 100%. I actually squatted down the other day and stood up and there was no pain. I was like,
God, imagine, dude.
Oh,
yeah. When they put that. when they put the metal in you, they don't plan for you to take it out, but like sometimes your body even rejects it. And I was always knocking on wood because I got some on my jaw, on my elbow, a couple spots.
Yeah, right. So yeah,
but speaking of like the All-Americans and stuff, I thought one of the coolest times in paintball, at least when it was the biggest, was when you guys were playing under the banner as well for Smart Parts. And I was just thinking about a few of the stories the other day, and I'd love for you to share the story about how you guys, when you guys were driving around Big Green the first time you were there.
Dude. So, all right. So this is actually, I don't know if I've ever told the story. It's on something, but I do have my shocker right back there. Oh, and I've got a mini mag with a teardrop barrel and a
nice
grip over there too.
I always liked the mini mags, but I feel like no one really liked using them over regular auto mags.
Yeah, no. I had an auto mag. That was my friend's mini mag. Actually, the guy who got me and Oliver into paintball gave me that. It's his gun.
When I was like 12, I remember.
Dude, my auto mag was sick. It was like it had the gray, black, and clear splash kit from Smart Parts. Like had all the parts, like the rail, the barrel,
magic box.
I didn't have the magic box.
Okay.
That's why I remember shot like shit. But anyway.
I remember looking at magazines and always wanting the black Teflon mini mag. I thought it looked sick.
They had like the micro mag too. That was
that's the one I was talking about. They had the micro mag.
Anyway, so we're sponsored by WDP at the time, and it was a very funny sponsorship. This is like when we first started Dynasty, and they'd give us guns, but there was no really contract or agreement at all. We would just like go in their booth at the tournaments and like get as much stuff as we can, including like guns and like angel airs and stuff. And what'd you get this time? And, so it was like very loose. Right. And we were just kind of, running the team off of the money we got from JT. And I think even some of us were still paying a little bit to play. But we were approached by Adam, or I don't know, I can't remember how that precipitated. I think it might have precipitated through Rodney Squires, who was a previous All-American player, had good relationship with a lot of the Smart Parts guys because we weren't really friends with them at the time. And they're like, hey, why don't you come out to
especially being sponsored by WDP. I mean, it was at least a perceived culture change, but it was a real culture change too between like the two biggest competitors at the time.
Totally. And I mean, we were good friends with the WDP guys, and we didn't know the Smart Parts guys at all.
Yep.
And they're like, come on out to Latrobe, which actually has a great history too, which is the place where Rolling Rock is brewed, and the Gardners really at the time had a really big presence in the town there because they employed a lot of people and made all their products at the place, as you guys know.
We used to always be in like, parades on floats, doing like homecoming things, being like, in charge of like school lockdowns. I was like, I don't know what we got going on right now. We were too young and stupid to be doing any of this.
Yeah. And that's another thing I learned about the Gardners and Smart Parts is like, they really cared about their community. That was really big, like learning about, they're a real American company. Like All Americans couldn't be a better name for their team and products. So like, it's just very, very fitting and very admirable too. Like I saw the way those guys do business and like they truly care. Anyway, we go down there and it's me, Oliver, Opie, and can't remember who else. Todd Martinez, maybe. Anyway, we go there, and first they're like, "You guys like Mexican food?" And like, we're from San Diego. Like, Mexican food is like all we do there, right?
It's
like,
real.
We want like a real deal, yeah. And we're like, "Yeah, sure." And they take us to this place, and it's like as Tex-Mex like whitewashed as you could get, right? And we're like, "All right." Like,
that place is an excellent bar after that.
Yeah. No, I remember. I don't think we drank. Maybe we did there.
Not that night, maybe, but
yeah. But anyway, we had Mexican. We were like, these guys are just great. Like, they're just clueless, and they bring us in and show us the whole facility. Like, they have all these beautiful CNC machines. They're making the barrels. They're doing this. Knowledge is all there. Show us the history of it, and they lend us this truck called Big Green, which I wish I had a paintball magazine. I have some upstairs with the old Smart Parts ad where Big Green is in the ad, and it's this like double wide. It's like this dually truck that's like got this huge bed, and it's got painted All American theme. There's like the eagle on the side, and then there's like it has like I think a It has the All Americans logo and the oval, and it's like you can't miss it, and you can never forget it, right?
And then it's not only a dually, but it was a 6-door dually, so basically like limo-esque truck. Yeah,
and we got everyone in there, and they like roll it to the tournaments and like.
Yeah. Oh, and like Aftershock used to, like when the tournaments were in Chicago, they'd like, stab all the tires. They'd be flat. Those teams hated each other. The first time they were there, they like, stabbed like 8 tires.
What?
But the reason it was called Big Green originally was because they bought that 6-door truck, and it was a green truck before they did the the American All-American motif.
Oh, it was green at first. I didn't know that's why it was called Big Green. Anyway, so we get big. They're like, okay, you guys can drive Big Green, right? And we go and do our thing and start talk shop, and then we go back to the hotel, and we're like, Oliver's like, we gotta go out and like drink and party, and we're like, okay, fine. So we go out, tie one on. I think Opie was driving and not drinking, but anyway, he we're like in the middle of the night, come back from the
Opie's
bar.
a good boy.
And he had blue hair at the time, straight up clown. Like it looked like he was wearing a blue clown wig, right? And so at the gas stations there, you don't get they don't pump the gas or they have to pump the gas for you or something. No. Okay. So anyway, you pay after you pump the gas is what it was.
Back then, yeah. I mean, debit cards
so anyway,
always
we go there. We go to the gas station because the thing's on empty. And we're like, great, let's fill this thing up with gas. And we're like all laughing and giggling and whatever. And Opie goes out and fills up the car with gas. And we leave the gas station, we go back to the hotel. And in the middle of the night, the cops come to our room, and we're like, "The fuck is going on here?" And the cops get us all out down in the lobby, and they're like, "All right, there's the guy with blue hair." So they identify him by his blue hair, and they're like, "Yeah, and you stole kerosene from that gas station over there." And we're like, "Kerosene? What the fuck are you talking about?"
Well, I think you guys put gas in it, but it was a diesel.
Yeah,
just as bad.
So Opie thought it was diesel, but he filled it up with kerosene. And then also we didn't pay.
Oh shit.
So like we're like, all right, how do we fix this? I think Rodney was there and like sorted it out in the morning, and like we're super embarrassed and told the story to the guys in the morning, and just a debacle. But ended up, no harm, no foul. The thing was okay on kerosene. You just had to like make this like mixture of diesel and carrot. I don't know, man. It was a whole scene.
It still ran for a few years after, and I'll tell you what,
forget that, man.
I had some great memories in trips, like going to trips in Big Green, but I also like anytime I ever had to drive that as like a 17-year-old kid was my hell. It was way too big. It was horrible. And by the time like I was driving it, because they had that for years, like it was a big box truck on the back too. So they had all their wins with like stars on the back. So it's a gaudy, huge truck that like I still don't like driving big vehicles. I like small vehicles. I like to zip around, whatever. And this thing also is the complete opposite. It's so cool. But by the time we had it, the seats were kind of ripping, springs were coming out. It's seen better days.
So it's long. Is it long gone now?
It is. It was dilapidated for quite a while, and then they put it up for sale. And some dude came down with he's like, "Well, I have like 8 kids. I could fix this, and it'll be perfect for me." So we bought it for a couple grand. But when Adam redid the offices up front, they made like a faux rear of it again with like working tail lights with a switch and stuff. So it's kind of cool that you can. Oh man, I don't know how
what just happened.
It zoomed in.
I have an AI camera, and I don't know how hand gestures work, and I'm Italian, so it decided to zoom in. Yeah, I don't know. This is what we're working with for now.
Like extreme close up.
No, that's the Italian in me, man. I couldn't help it. I'll figure that out.
Yeah. Awesome. So if you don't know, I guess Google. Let's just see. All Americans magazine ad. No, I guess it'd be Smart Parts.
Right.
I don't know what I did.
It's like on the new iPhones, like if you do gestures, like to give it a thumbs up.
I think I had something going on. That was no good.
I can't.
Okay.
So you still work there, right?
I do, yeah. And I also really love that you guys redid the force and the waffle pattern, because I think that was such an iconic gun that it's cool to see that done again.
Yeah, that was all Ryan. That's Ryan Greenspan's project. I think it came out cool too. Yeah.
Let me see.
I'm trying to get one from him, but he wouldn't hook me up.
He's not hooking you up, man. How many things have you hooked him
sell
up
those. I'm gonna sell them.
Let's start cutting all the things you give him. No more Hormesis.
All I got is pictures of like shockers and shocker turbos. Some dope ones too, actually, in here.
Yeah, I used to love just looking through those magazines as a kid. All of them, the JT catalog with
I definitely have that ad here
somewhere.
So do you see Adam every day?
Yeah, more or less.
Dude, you got to get him on the show. I'd like to hear his whole story from the beginning.
I definitely will, because I think
is he out there? Like, is that story like, has anyone interviewed him and got like the real like the deep dive on like the brothers and George Davidson and like the beginning of the company and like Adam and their dad and all that stuff?
I don't know if super thoroughly. I told Marcelo and Tyler a long time ago. I don't know if they ever actually did. They might have. Either way, I'll definitely have him on, because I think he's been misrepresented in the sport a lot. And I think, there's kind of an innate West Coast bias, at least back then, to players and teams, just because that's where the media came from. That's where all the writers were, the videographers. So
yeah, I could totally agree with you on that for sure.
Which is what it is. I mean, if there's not something around and you want it, you can make it yourself. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Which you've done. Like, so I guess, like, obviously part owner in Dynasty, you guys have Field One or Mises, you're doing documentaries, movies, you did the Coin Dole, you have the Gap magazine. But I guess I'd like to ask you about what I'd consider your first company, but when your dad started Gap Paintball. And was that like something that you pushed for, or was that just something he wanted to do because it helped the team? Like, I'm sure you've told the story a lot of times, but
no, actually, I haven't told it that many times. And actually, the real reason, and this is actually a lot of what the Iron Kids movie is going to be about, is around let's see, it would have been 1995. My parents had started to get a divorce at that time. It was like a really nasty divorce, a lot of contention, and there was custody battle issues where my dad had like limited visitation, and he didn't get to spend a lot of time with us. And I had like right around that time found out about paintball, and so I go to the field, and like he saw that I was like really getting into it, and he realized that it's something that we could do together. So that was kind of like our bonding thing. Like with the 2 weekends we got a month together, we would like go to the paintball field and play paintball together.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
so like,
what better can you do than spend quality time doing something that the person's going to remember and build those like strong memories with?
And he enjoyed it, and like it was cool. He made friends with all the people out there, and like it was a really really wholesome experience, and some of the most memorable paintball games and times, even to this day, even after all the tournaments and stuff. I mean, we didn't even know tournaments existed. We were just going out there playing walk-ons. But my dad was always like a really kind of free thinker and entrepreneurial type of person. Like he invented the waveless waterbed, which is like back in the 60s, the 70s, waterbeds were really popular, but they were really like flowy because just this water bladder. So he invented this like fiber that would go inside of it, and you could put different thicknesses of this special fiber to control the
density of it,
with the movement of the water. So he manufactured those for a while. He became kind of an industry leader in vinyl fabrication, and obviously these industry, like that's gone now. Like waterbeds aren't even a thing anymore. Like that's just like a relic of history. So anyway, he anytime he would see something new, he would like think about like, okay, how can I improve that? Is that how can I get into that business? Like, always thinking about, like, he would build like, these custom drop forwards there's one on this gun right here. So like, he would just buy some like plate aluminum and like, bend it and like build his own drop forward to like the way he wanted it to feel. So like, that's a custom made Richard Fraige part right there.
Back then you got to see so many of that. Just people like, being able to tinker and actually make useful things.
Yeah, and all of his gear was like, here, check this shit out. So here are his goggles, right? He had extra foam on the top of the head. Yeah. He had a mesh inside there. So
nice.
like when the paintballs would like
Yeah.
hit him in the face, because he was like, he would never go out. Like he had this suit. Remember the fiber I was talking about that he put inside the mud? He made a suit out of that. So it was like
just a bounce suit.
Yeah, but underneath was that stuff. So like he was just invincible. And he's like, I'm not going out until somebody calls it, and then I'll give him the, you know, like the satisfaction, right? Like
yeah. And back then paint was made a little like, you know, first days of X-Ball paint was awesome, super fragile. But back in the Woods days, they made it a little harder. So, you know, you could shoot through brush a little bit and stuff like that. So if you had a bounce suit like that on, you would have been invincible.
Yeah. I mean, he was this is crazy. Actually, I never really like looked at
That's cool. Even you telling me that story about like, you know, just how your dad was, you know, an inventive person with a lot of ingenuity, like. And then
he was like,
companies reminded me so much of Adam, because like his mom was a chemical engineer and she invented like this flame resistant foam that they had to use for like a lot of shipping and products and like cranes to move things off boats and stuff. So like, you know, when you grow up in those atmospheres, it's important to take lessons from them. Any atmosphere you grow up in, good or bad, you can take lessons from. And when you do, you can, you know, take those good things and apply them to your own life, and then end up having your own businesses and bringing your ideas to fruition, because everyone has ideas. It's just a matter of being able to, you know, put those ideas into action.
Totally. And that's the type of guy he was. Like he was a move maker. So I remember him asking me, he's like, yo, with these paintballs, in paintball, what part of, if you're going to get into the business, what part of the business would it be? I said, well, I'd make the paintball guns. And he said, nah, that's not it. Right. You should make the paintballs because you have to keep buying them. Right. They're, what do they call that? Disposable, or I can't remember the term, but I'll think of it. Anyway, you have to keep, you know,
purchasing them. Yeah.
So he looked into it, and, you know, he was experienced in manufacturing, and he kind of knew what it took to produce a product. And he had real estate up in Carson City where he made the vinyl and the beds. At this point, he had gotten into like airbed manufacturing because water beds were out. So it was like kind of like a cheaper version of like the one Sleep Number where you could like adjust
So I remember when those first came out, I was like, these are just air mattresses.
That's all they are. So he made like a version of that for a while, and then you know, he decided to get into paintball manufacturing, bought all the equipment, and you know, there's a lot of pitfalls. He hired a guy who said he knew what he was doing. The guy didn't. Like, it's a really challenging thing. Like, anyone who ever calls me and says like, hey, I want to get into the paint manufacturing business. And a lot of people have tried to buy the machines from me. And I'm like, you do not want to do this. Like I'll be happy to sell you the machines, but it's a bad idea for you. Like, you know, and so unless you already know, unless you know how to do it. Like,
if you do, I've seen people who, you know, have been making paint for years, like still mess it up all the time. It's incredibly difficult to make.
And you know, the thing about it is those machines weren't designed to make a precision projectile. They're designed to make pharmaceuticals, which those don't have to shoot and fly through the air and go straight. Like it just is the machines that make paintballs are not designed to make what they're making.
So you're kind of like dumbing it down and tinkering with the speed of the ribbons on both sides, because if one's moving a little, or if you have too much tension on one, that pulls it and makes it not spherical. It makes the halves unequal. There's a lot that goes into
tons of factors, dude.
Just into the shell, and the paint's the same way inside.
Yes, it's a science. And this joker that he had hired didn't know the science, and so my dad, being like the entrepreneur that he is, he just figured it out himself. Like, he's like, okay, you know, figured out the chemistry, and then he is very good at looking at a problem, engineering, and like and being honest about what it is, right? And so he basically created his own handbook, trained people, got it going after losing, you know, a ton of money with bad inventory. But at the end of it, you know, I realized that, you know, it wasn't really about the business at all. It was about like connecting with me. Right. And that was what he was really, I think, looking for. It wasn't really, you know, he dove into the business for sure. And like he, you know, but ultimately I think that, it was kind of his way to stay close to me.
Even though you care and the effort to put in as much time into your life as you want, because someone who's going to invest and learn how to do something so complicated could do that on any number of things, right?
Totally. And ultimately, it was a huge loss, like a massive loss, right?
Of course.
But you know,
it's cool too. You said he like learned to do it himself, because that was before the days of YouTube, because it wasn't like you could just watch a video and kind of learn. Like back then, like you had to read a book on something if you were lucky enough to find a book on that subject, and then just hope the author actually knew what they were talking about, and then try to figure it out and trial and error. So it was when people like had knowledge back then, it was a completely different than the cursory knowledge we have of things now. We kind of have rudimentary knowledge of how something works, but we have instant access to how it actually works. So it's not as important to know.
Yeah. And he would like, get on the phone to the manufacturers of the machines themselves and learn it. Right. Yeah. And then he ended up becoming really good friends with those guys. Right. And I remember early on, like he called up, maybe it was even Smart Parts. Like I know he had talked to the gardeners like early on, before he got into paintball manufacturing. We were just like, he was shooting the shit about the pressures on the gun, right? He wanted to know, and
that's awesome.
And what happens if I do this? What happens if I do that? And like, he would, check this invention out, dude. You'll love this. So this is another one of his things. So this, you know how there's, how you'd always have the ball roll out of the barrel in an autococker. So they're the ball detents back here. Right.
But it was a closed bolt. It was a closed bolt gun.
It was a closed bolt. Yeah. So like in autococker, the bolt is sitting in the barrel, or just shy of the barrel, but the paintball's in the barrel before you shoot the ball. So
as it actuates, it loads the ball, the bolt goes forward, rests against the ball, and when you actually fire it, all it's doing is releasing air and then recocking.
That's right. And moving backwards.
And then forward to load.
Yeah. So essentially this system is, you could make an argument that it's softer on paint. Anyway, you had a big problem with this, because if the paintball is smaller than the barrel, then it would just roll out if you tilted your gun down like this, and then you'd shoot and nothing would come out. So unless you had your paint size perfectly, you were doomed, right? So my dad invented this contraption. It was like a little kind of like, it looked like a little vise, and you'd put it on the edge of the barrel, and you'd screw it in, and it would make a little dent, right?
So
there's a little
just like a nubbin,
a tiny little pimple in there, just enough to hold the ball in place, but not to screw up the accuracy of the ball.
Yeah.
So so I had that on my barrel, right? You couldn't do it on the stainless steel barrels because it was too
hard.
Yeah. So I have this actually an OTP barrel. Remember that?
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, for sure. I don't ever remember seeing a barrel with that done to it. Was he doing it to others or just his own?
No, just
like guys on the team.
Yeah, just like guys around the field that shot another. That's yeah. No, it wasn't like a product that was like he had one. It wasn't like something that was like out there.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that, like, when you couldn't size it was a more accurate system when you could size your paint. But like kids these days don't even realize there weren't insert kits back then either.
Yeah, had one barrel.
So like if you wanted an insert kit, you could buy full barrels. So you'd have a battle boy that you'd unroll, and you'd have like 8 barrels in there. But like even then, sizes were limited for what you could actually do. And if paint was ever, not consistent through a batch, you were kind of hooped.
Right. Totally. Yeah. You had your one barrel, and usually it was like a 689 like a 9-1.
Yeah.
Or like even bigger, like
8-9 would have been like the absolute 8-9 would have been what we consider like a 7-7 now.
Sure.
Because they were like, 9-1, 9-3, 9-5 were probably the 3 most common.
Yeah, like I have a 9-2 die barrel around here somewhere that was for the Gap paint because it was so big.
Yeah. I have a 9. Like my first All-American barrel that I had on like my Spider when I was a kid was a 6.95. So
yeah, 9.5. But yeah, so like he just had little. He just loved it, right? He loved improving, and he loved to take. Really dive into stuff he was doing. So like,
and back then there was like so much room for improvement, things came out like dead stock, and like you could really make these small little tweaks that made a huge difference. And it kills me now because people are always like, oh, technology's advanced so far, there's nowhere else for it to go. But it's like, that's never been that way in history. Like things get to a point and it always stops because someone didn't have a new idea, but new ideas always come out. Like it boggles my mind when people are like, oh, like this is it. This is as far as you can go with something, because it never is.
Yeah, man. I just, I look back and like, I think like, yeah, times were just simpler back then, but really, I don't think they were. It was just different,
It was different. I would say it was simpler in that aspect of just didn't know as much of what was going on, so you cared less about it. Like
yeah, for me, it was.
Yeah, the world was just as complex, but you were so much more like located physically and emotionally in like a surrounding area that was much smaller. And now we're more connected to issues all over the world and have friends all over the world and dealing with their issues and have instant like connectivity to people, right? Like if you weren't living with someone or calling their house phone, then you couldn't even access them.
Yep.
Yeah. Now what everyone's doing is at your fingertips. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. For the good and bad,
Yeah, but anyway, like that's the kind of the meat and potatoes of the Gap story.
Yeah.
And
how many like skids were you guys manufacturing at your peak? Because it went from like what I thought you guys were just doing for like tournaments in your team to eventually being pretty big, where like you were seeing it around a lot more.
We had a decent presence on the West Coast, but it got really tough because we were like pretty much the only domestic maker at that point. Other than I think RP Shearer still had something going in Florida, but they were even like kind of I feel like they had maybe sold to Brass Eagle or something. I don't know. I don't remember. All I remember is that right around the time we started producing, price of paintballs went from like $80 a case to like 28.
Yeah,
because it got super saturated right around them. Like a bunch of people, like Draxus jumped in right at the same time. Like, and they were huge. Like before that, it was just RP Shearer,
and Powerball.
Nelson.
Powerball.
Yeah, Powerball. But I think they were maybe made by Nelson.
I was going to ask you. I actually never knew who made them, and I always liked it because like the Pro Powerball edition, like they had the sparkles in it.
Yeah, that's
so
a cool
shop people would like cut you up.
Powerball. Someone ought to bring that back. It's a cool name.
For sure.
Anyway, Powerball. Yeah, it was like Powerball, Nelson, Zap, RP Shearer, and they had the prices. Like I remember when we first started playing, like it was $95 for a case of Marbleizer at the store.
2,500 rounds, 2 bags. So you just pulled out this like stack of potatoes that you're trying to fill from.
Each bag had like
$1,250,
whatever it was, 1,200. And so there was that, and then like there was premium gold, which was like one step down, and that was like $85, which was still really good paint. And then big ball was like the shitty version, and that was like I think that was a 2,000 round bag, but those were still like $50.
As a kid, I used to buy this RP Shearer called Rainbow Ball. I don't know if you remembered it, but it was literally like all their paints mixed together. So you'd get like the Smack Talk with like the All-Star and like some Marbleizers and stuff like, and that was still probably $55-$60 a case. And it was literally clearly just leftovers swept up,
Yeah. I mean, so it was a different market. And then right when we like basically launched or had viable product, like, Diablo, which eventually became GI after a bunch of different iterations, jumped in and like really drove the price down.
Do you think that was an oversaturation issue or just an evolution of how the game was going at that time too? Because the game was going to a point where people had to play more and more, shoot more and more paint. So to make it affordable enough to play, I feel like it had to be slightly more mass produced.
Maybe, but I don't think I don't think they were doing it for that reason.
No,
I mean, I think they were doing it because that was their business model, was to basically, put a really great product out there for cheap and then basically take over the marketplace and then eventually decrease the quality and
creep the price up, decrease the quality.
Yeah. So creep it up. That's what they would do. They get control of the fields and stores, and then they would be stuck with them, right? And also, we were only making a high-end ball, so like Fields didn't want that. Fields wanted cheap. They didn't really care too much. Most Fields didn't care about the customer experience. They cared about the bottom line. So.
Who came up with the gimmick to put the smell in it? Because that did separate you from all the.
Yeah, that was my dad's idea. He's like, that would be a cool idea. We could add, and the place up there still smells like bananas.
It has to. That was awful. Like anytime you guys came off the field, if you're the next team to play, you're like, geez, that gave me a headache. It was so pungent.
I mean, I mean, we probably smelled it more than anybody because
for sure.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that.
Over our hands. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it was good times. Yeah, and like we were the only team that got it, and I remember a few times like teams that if we got knocked out of the tournament would be like, "Let me buy the rest of your paint," and we'd be like, "Yeah, fine," yeah. So
right. We are going to go out tonight, so we need some money.
Yeah, beer money. There you go.
Oh,
no,
that's awesome.
That's really cool. I guess that surprises me. It was your dad like that did the smell thing for it, but at the same time, it doesn't. Now that you've told me all those other stories about him, I think that's cool.
Yeah,
and it isn't. I said gimmick, but it's not a gimmick because like it's just something that distinctually separates itself from everything else, which is why I said I like that Powerball when I was a kid because they had sparkles in it. It's like just something different. If you're going to be spending that much money on something, have something that separates yourself.
Totally. And like they had the star ball, or RP had the star ball. And how they do that actually is they have like this giant rolling rubber stamp that prints onto the ribbon. That's why the stars look warped, because it prints it on there before the paintball gets formed.
Stretches. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. And I think there was one that actually at one point was like printing on each individual ball after they were made.
Oh, really?
What was it?
Yeah, I didn't know about that. No.
Yeah, I can't remember either, but it was a thing. They were doing like I can't remember the name of the process. But yeah, they would actually print on each individual ball to accomplish the same thing.
That sounds like a headache.
Yeah, super.
That sounds really not worth it. So, I guess this weekend, I know a lot of your guys were out in Utah for that Expo exhibition. I mean, we can talk about how that went if you want. You didn't make it out there, correct?
Yeah, no, I didn't go. Actually, I didn't even know what was going on because I was on a father-daughter camping trip with my daughter, so I was out of cell phone service. So I was like, I got back and I was like, I called Yosh. I was like, how'd it go? Actually, Yosh didn't pick up. So then I called Junior and I was like, how'd it go? He's like, it was good. It was fine. And then,
the situation around it looked a little rough and stuff, but I guess.
Yeah, I don't know how prepared like the infrastructure of it was, but I guess the game was good and it was fun. And like they shot the crap out of each other. That's what they wanted. A-Rod and Ryan bonus balling each other. So
I guess I'd rather talk about the first Expo exhibition, which you got to play in 2002, I thought that was another one of the coolest things that I had seen. I'd just gone, I'd been playing amateur A for a year and a half at that point in time, but I'm a local Pittsburgh kid. So, when they did that exhibition in Pittsburgh, and they had the Nations Cup, and there was, 4 15-minute quarters, and you had some of the best players from all over the world playing against each other for that long. From what we were playing 10-man, and at that point in time, I think it was already down to 10-minute game. So it was already kind of a bastardized version of what 10-man was. So that was already kind of reducing and getting smaller. And then this came along, and it's like, oh wow, I get to watch, two teams battle for, an hour of game time, and that was awesome. But like, what you must have been probably 19 at the time or something like that. Like
something like that. I mean, I don't know how. Yeah, I was 18 or 19. I don't know how the teams got picked.
So yeah, there was a lot of resentment from a lot of East Coast players because they thought that they should have got picked and stuff. But I think Richmond got Bob Long to pick the teams.
Okay, so Bob picked it, and like
it might have been Rich and Bob. I think it was.
So Bob was partial to us. I actually have the trophy here.
Oh, really?
Wow.
It's 2 years ago at World Cup, Steve Rabikoff brought that, and he's like, "Here, I think you should have this."
That's sick.
Oh, wow.
That's sick. But what was that like playing in? Like, because it was fun to watch.
I mean, it was dope. It was an entirely new thing, and it like really played into like our strengths. Like,
and it felt so groundbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, but like some of the players were just outclassed in it. Like they were just, the way that paintball was to them just was like it was so foreign that. He evolved so like even Bob himself was like, I should not be out there, right, like the game's moving too fast for me.
And I will say like I
Ron Nelson, who was still good, but and you got him out there because he shot a guy off the break every time, but that was about all he could do, and that
incredibly limited outside of that. And back then, if you looked at the field layouts, it's like how wasn't everyone shooting a guy off the break, because the guns were shooting really fast and the lanes were huge, But we weren't as good back then.
The Russians really played in that in the pajamas.
Yeah,
they were good though. Still, I mean,
they were good.
Different guys now. I think Mishka is probably the only guy that played in that is still playing.
Oh, yep.
Wow.
Definitely Mishka.
But yeah, dude, that was like, I mean, it was like, yeah, I don't know. It was like the first time they slam dunked a basketball. Like, it was like, you know, I don't have a better comparison. Like,
and honestly, like Team USA was like watching one or watching the Globetrotters. So even though I think there was a lot of East Coast players that could have been picked for talent alone, I think for the spectacle that it was supposed to be, like picking more flamboyant, more people with you know, more energy probably was the right move overall. So I was glad, you know, they went with a lot of younger guys, a lot of people like, you know, Nikki and stuff from the East Coast that had a lot of energy, and it was so much more fun watching the American games than any other teams.
I was just so stoked to like just even be like, I was like, dude, I'm playing with like Soya and like all these guys, and I'm like, holy shit, like the Ironman guys, Bob's guys, like we were close with those guys because we practiced with them a lot. That's probably why they picked us, is because like they knew we were good. You know,
well, they knew you were good, and in the new format, they knew they needed younger kids. You know, I think everyone kind of knew both of those things at the time. Yeah, but actually at the time, I think you guys practiced like the night before at a local Pittsburgh field, right? Like at night.
God, I don't remember.
Because I remember two kids that ended up on my team like a year or two later. Like I think they had to call up some local players and stuff, so they like played you guys with like just like with no vision at night. You guys were just like dunking on them, probably drunk the night before you went out and actually played the exhibition.
Love that. Yeah, I remember. I just remember pulling up there, and I remember Zach Long was driving, and he pulled up to this kid, and he's like, "Hey, you here for the Third Eye Blind concert?" I was like, "What the fuck?" And that, like being around those guys, like I felt so cool.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of this. Actually, the first time I met Tim, we were out in this clinic at what's the name of that? I don't know. Oh, I know. I thought of this is because you talked about playing at night at some field. Yeah. What was the name of that place up in Detroit? Future Ball.
Yeah.
Future Ball. So we go to this place. Oliver and I took this field called Future Ball for a clinic, right? And we do the clinic, and Tim is there, and we meet Tim and Jason Trozen, and they were like their little buddies there, and they were like, "All right, let's play," right? And they just, not part of the clinic, wanted to like challenge me and Oliver, and they were fucking good.
Yeah, I was going to say every clinic has people like that, but they're usually not good.
Yeah, no, these guys were good. And I was like, and Jason was pretty big at the time. We're like, bro, like this guy can move and he can play. I'm like, he reminded me of JR actually, the way he played it. And yeah, I was like, I can still, it's so weird. Like I remember that better than I remember like any tournament within the past like 10 years. Like I remember that so vividly, going into that field, meeting those guys. Like I can see the faces, and yeah, just crazy memories like that, for sure.
It's cool. And sometimes like you don't remember them forever, and then something sparks a little memory, and then you remember it so vividly. It was like it just happened. And
totally, that's what's like cool. When you said that about going to play the night before, like I thought like that was that, and it was. Yeah, I was like, no, that was something else.
I wasn't even around that time.
Oh man.
But yeah, a lot of good times. And I know you had some questions for him, right, Hal?
Yeah. You know, I love hearing and getting to see y'all reminisce, because it brings a spark, but it's also part of the history. Speaking of history, I just kind of wanted to bring in Serial Killers 1. Did you get to choose Shoot the Moon, the song that played during yours, or was that chosen for you? Because that was such a good song.
Yeah, no. So Patrick Sporer, who is, you know, he did that whole movie by himself. Basically, he shot it, he edited it, he did all the music licensing. I didn't do the licensing, but I think he did the picks, and he's like a legendary SoCal, like Stacy Peralta skateboard scene, kind of punk rock scene guy, and he just knows all the deep cuts of all the bands. Like even now, like he's like, have you listened to the Schlitterbahn Acid Trippers? And I'm like, no, Pat, like you got to check them out, right? He actually just turned me on to a couple bands that like I'm like,
I think it's,
and I'm like,
fuck yeah, it's the coolest thing in the world that you're still working with him to make videos, because
and he's still, I mean, he helps at the webcast too, periodically.
So does he? I actually didn't know that.
And no, so Pat picked that. I did listen to Face to Face before that, but yeah, that was sweet when you know, you didn't know, like I didn't see it until it was done. So it was a pretty big stoke. And yeah, I still do listen to Face to Face actually.
That's sick.
Definitely not my favorite song by them, but it's a good one. It fit the part for sure.
Yeah, no, it was great. I kind of wanted to touch also on you're very involved in the industry. You've brought back, it's not really, I don't like calling it a magazine because it's so much more than that.
It's a coffee table book.
It is. It's a coffee table book. You brought back Great American Paintball, and you're doing that now. You have your hands in that, and a few other things, Hormesis, and all I think are just a great products for the sport. They stand for amazing things, and then like with Gap, you know, I just really enjoy. There's nothing better than holding something like that in your hands and being able to go through those, and then the high quality that y'all are putting out is just, it's so fantastic and it's just amazing. How'd that kind of come about?
So it's something that I wanted to do for a while, is bring back print media somehow in paintball, and I couldn't really figure out a good way to do it. Like I didn't want to just make a magazine and just to make one, and because you had like, you know, all news and stuff is like tournament coverage is all antiquated, like that's digested instantly now through the internet. So it's got to be more of like features and photos, and to do that in a regular magazine format, it doesn't really work. Right? It can't have cheap paper. It can't be small. And so eventually I was at a newsstand and I got a copy of this magazine right here called Mountain Gazette. And it's like a outdoor ski magazine.
Yeah.
And like, you know, different for like, here's like a article about like smoke or fire rescue plane, or the fire planes that like go and like fires and stuff. And you know, a lot of really interesting takes on stuff in here that aren't, they're storytelling, right? They're not telling you like, you know, and like, I mean, just check out the back cover. Like it's just, there's no agenda. It's just a badass picture of a polar bear.
Yeah.
You know? So like, I was like, yeah, I want to make it like this, right? Like,
yeah.
And so I looked up this printer. They're actually printed in Canada. And I was like, yo, what's it going to take to do something like this, and figure that out. And then actually I'll rewind a little bit. So the idea fizzled. I was like, yeah, you know, that's not going to work. And then I got a call from Mike Jeffrey, who I didn't know who he was at all. Just some jabroni to me. And I guess he had talked to Oliver on the one-on-one tour. And he's like, yo, you should talk to this guy. He sent me a writing sample of some like some fiction work that he's working on now. It's like a section out of a novel about these kids, like, you know, growing up and partying. And I was like, man, this is really good writing. And he's like, we should make a magazine. And I said, yeah, all right. And right around the same time, this came across my desk, and I was like, okay, we got to do this. Right. Yeah. So then I printed out a couple samples around here, and just like looking at the pictures, I was like, bro, that's sick. Like, we got to do it. Right. Like maybe it takes off, maybe it fizzles. And I mean, right now it's kind of just like at break even, like no one's making any money, but I still like doing it. Actually, I'm working on the third issue right now.
Awesome.
And
I can really see the inspiration from that other magazine, not just from the size of it, but like the sheen of the paper and stuff too.
Oh yeah, no, it's basically a copy of this.
No, but that's awesome, because I think, I mean, not only is it nostalgic, but being able to have that visceral feel of having something tangible in your hands is so important. That's missed out now.
Totally, and I love I don't get the experience of like getting the magazine in the mail, obviously, because I'm making it and I already know what's in it. And by the time it comes out, I'm fucking sick of it. But like the experience I get from like looking at this magazine, I love it. Like I get this in the mail, you know, and I'm like, fuck yeah. And I read all the articles and like, I get into it.
And it has to be incredibly rewarding too. Just, you don't get the experience, so you're tired of it by the time you ship it out. but that's when like all the love comes back for
Oh,
it.
totally.
Like,
Yeah, no, I got
does love it.
so
And then
much
you get
positivity and like, you know, people who read the articles and enjoy them. Yeah, and I like, dude, I've got some really good ones in this next one. I've got let me just open it up and
because projects that aren't going to be like super monetarily beneficial have to be rewarding in some way. So it has to be an emotional reward, something that you wanted to happen, or something that you know you can change the feel of it.
And that's what this is, you know. And it honestly like causes me more grief sometimes than is worth it. But like, I mean, like in the last issue, we had a piece about, you know, predators in you know, in paintball, like, you know, sexual predators.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously some people weren't so happy about that and were threatening us and that type of stuff. And I actually was talking to Chris Haas, who was one of the makers of Paint Magazine back in the day, who went on to do like some pretty
go-to magazines too.
Yeah. And I mean, he went on to do, he became a real journalist, right? Like he went and worked for the DNC for a long time, and now he does consulting, but he's got his, you know, hands on some really like serious, real journalism stuff. So he said, hey, if they're not threatening to sue you, you're doing it wrong.
And I think too, it's like something like that, working on that particular article, of course that's gut wrenching, and you don't want to always put these negative lights on things, but it's important to show the truth and to tell people, because if we're afraid and we hide from that, I mean, it just isn't.
And also it's a story, you know, like I want to tell the story.
Yeah, you're not trying, like you said, you're not doing a news recap, you're doing journalism. With journalism is good and bad stories, right? And then you have to balance that so that it's not depressing. So when people get it, it's like, oh, why am I going to hate the thing I love? But you have to tell the people the bad too, so they can appreciate the good even more. Like
in the next one, we have a piece about this whole stuff with Marcelo, and really the one main reason I want to put it in there is because right now, if you were like to look at that from a historical standpoint, like in 10 years, if you're like, I remember that happened, but what happened?
Yeah.
Like there's no way to find that online. All you have is like a bunch of social media posts, a bunch of super biased interviews and opinions, and there's no real narrative of what actually happened. So so like that part of it is interesting. And then the artistic part, I mean, dude, I have this article in here. I've got I hit up Roman from Faceful, and he gave me these beautiful photos of nets from paintball tournaments.
Oh yeah, he was always
artistic, and they're gonna look great in the full format size like that. And Maddie wrote this piece that's just so poetic, and I'm just I'm stoked. Yeah, so like I've got that. I've got a little thing about Jerry, obviously some Chicago photos. I know I have a good one of you in here, Ryan. You always have good pictures. This piece, Joe.
It's because I don't play traditionally. You know, I look goofy when I play. So
no, not even when you're playing. I mean, yeah, but you're photogenic when you're playing, but off the field too, you always have a nice, pretty intense and honest look to you. Miko, I got a piece. Roderick Mitchell, who does like all the scorekeeping.
Yep.
For the NXL games. I got an article by this guy Nima, who's talking about paintball in Iran.
No. I do love that you're touching from all avenues too. You're not like dominated from one perspective, because it's important.
Yeah, and I want to empower people, dude. If you want to write an article, like I want to hear it. Like I would like to do an expose on the history of smart parts. Like I wanted to do that about HK, but the problem with that is it's an investment. Like I've got to get Mike out to them. I've got to get sit down interviews. I got to deal with the travel and all that stuff. And by the end, I'm like underwater on it.
I can write you an article sometime. I can work on it in my leisure.
Dude, I have a sick picture of you in this new one, dude. It's sick.
I want to wait and see it when I.
Yeah, no, it's by it's taken by Nigel D'Souza, so it's actually on film.
Okay,
and we got this poet to write a couple poems, and I've got 4 poems. They're full pages, and it's like the poem combined with the photo.
Man, that sounds the coolest thing ever. And like you said, I actually want to implore people to subscribe to the magazine, because I think it's very telling, and maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong, but to me, it's telling if something's quality or not, if you're going to have your peers pay their own money to buy it without asking, right? And like, 100%. I know when you did this project, without a question, I was going to purchase the first one and see how it was. And now I'll always be subscribed to it. And, you know, I don't have to spend a lot of money on paintball. I haven't had to spend much money on paintball in a long time, but I want to because I believe in this project. And I think that, you know, if your peers can believe in something, like I think anyone who hasn't given it a chance yet is kind of missing a huge opportunity and a huge outlet that you've done, because I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people know, but it is an artistic magazine, but like you're an incredibly artistic person too, from your paintings to your drawings, like inside and outside, everything you've done. Like I appreciate your work. So anytime you have someone with an artistic mind be able to create something in something that you love, I mean, support that, because those opportunities don't come along all the time. And it disincentivizes people, other people, not to take the chance to make, you know, their own artistic vision come to life if they see others fail when they know that they're such a successful and talented person. Yeah.
And you hit the nail on the head. Thank you for the compliments, by the way. That means a lot, especially coming from you. But you hit it on the head. Like I made this for us, like with my peers in mind. Like I'm not making it to like grow the sport or like, you know, paint some picture of paintball that I want people to see. I didn't make it for an advertisement. I made it because it's something that I wish somebody would make for me. So like that was it. So I'm like, let's do it that way. And
it's funny because that's the exact same thing, you know, when I had all the conversations with Tim before he ever started the ICC till he passed, it was, you know, I had to make it because I wish someone would have done it for me. Dude, it sucks that I had to do something and that I don't even get the real reward of it. Because like you said, you don't get to open the magazine. You don't get to get in the mail. He didn't get to play his tournament, but he gets the reward of seeing all the people that, you know, he respects and, you know, appreciates. He gets the reward of seeing a smile on their face and their appreciation reciprocated to him.
Yeah. And honestly, dude, like he started something that may never die. Like the whole Woods Ball revival is now a thing again. Like, dude, Woods Ball was gone.
Yeah.
And
the amount of faces that I've seen come back in it too. It's not just like young and old alike, but it's so cool seeing. And like you obviously have waves of people come in and out of it, right? But I would have thought like all the old guys that were going to come in would have came in within the first like 5 years. But still, like every year I see new guys coming back.
Right.
Because it's FOMO, man. You see the people that you've had so many experiences with out there still having fun doing something that you never thought you were going to do at the same level again and get to compete against the same people again. And it's like, why am I not doing this if I'm able to in any way?
You're so right. You're so right. So yeah, I mean, check it out. I'm trying to look for a picture. But yeah, I'm stoked. I think this is going to be a good. I know it's going to be a great issue. It's got a lot of gold in it, and I'm stoked to share it with everybody. There you are.
Oh yeah.
With the only other guy who's more patriotic than you.
That's all right. The more patriotism, the better. You know.
Dude, look at that picture, dude. Yeah. You just need to clean that like hair off the cheek. My wife always bugs me about that. She's like, at least clean it up. At least clean it up.
My wife yells at me about that hair. Anytime my mustache overgrows my lip a little bit.
I'm breaking all the rules.
Yeah. You gotta get rid of that thing, Al.
Once you're so far gone. Well, he told us in our next win, so you know it's a matter of time.
All right. I'm going down. We're rolling to you guys now.
Would never want that. Would never want that. Winning's only fun when it's earned. Oh, I know you're kidding. No competitor could ever do that. Have you ever guessed it on it? Or actually, on Dynasty, have you ever thrown a game? And if no, have you ever guessed it on a team that's thrown a game?
Have I ever what? The second part?
Guessed it on a team that's thrown a game. If Dynasty hasn't.
Dynasty, no, I can't remember. But
that surprises me because Davey used to get really mad if we wouldn't throw games to help what he would say us, but it'd be you guys.
I mean, gosh, if you did. Maybe look, like the other even the last tournament, we're like, hey, if we lose this game to whoever we were playing the last game of the prelims, it was you guys.
Yeah.
We're like, if we lose this game, then Fit will be out. And I think you would have been in, but then we would have gone into the wild card. And we're like, yeah, I mean, obviously, if you've won three games, like you're not gonna lose one on purpose.
Especially in today's game, momentum is so important. Like,
we hadn't won; we'd already lost to Arsenal. But you need that.
But you guys would have made it in based on tiebreakers as long as you kept it within 2 points. If we won by 3, you guys would have been out. I think my math could be off.
Got it. I can't remember. All I knew was like afterward we looked at it and we're like, fuck, if we would have lost that, then
I just think momentum is so important, not just internally but externally too, because you want to feel invincible, and to the people you're playing against, you want to be feared. Yeah. And you don't want to show any cracks in your armor. So I never believed in throwing games for that reason alone. I think the mental aspect of paintball is way too important to be giving things away like that. I've been in situations where it would have definitely behooved me and my team to throw games, but it's never been worth it, I didn't think. But one time I was playing with the Tauntauns, me and Tim over in Europe, and we were playing Joy Division. And whoever threw the
That's a different set of rules out there.
Yeah. Whoever threw the game would have been in a much how's going?
I'm gone. I went dark.
But basically, whoever won that game was going to be in a much worse situation. We were both on regardless. But whoever won it was like, I don't remember the exact situation, but it was not going to be as easy. And Tauntauns were like, you have to throw the game. I was like, well, I won't. So they ended up sitting me and Tim. And they started throwing the game. But then it also benefited Joy to throw the game. So they started throwing the game.
Everyone was trying to lose.
So now I'm watching this, and I'm watching people blowing the towel when they're up 4-on-2s and stuff. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And we ended up losing throwing the game because we won it. Like, I was like, you didn't even throw the game successfully. You guys are killing me.
Yeah, and then like, moving on in the tournament, that'll just derail your whole.
It happened a lot more in 10-man because over the course of 8 games, or 7-man as well, over the course of 8 games, it like losing one wasn't as big of a deal because it's one bad breakout. But losing an X-ball game is losing a war of attrition. To not parse words, right?
I remember one time we threw a game to the Bushwhackers in the semis so they could make the finals, and they're like, we'll roll it to you in the finals.
Yeah.
Ron Gilmore was like, if you let us get in, we'll just roll it to you. We're like,
bro, well, you've never beaten us, so I don't know if that counts as rolling it to us.
But then certain people wouldn't do it. Like Skinny Kevin wouldn't do it. So
I wouldn't.
Like Davey had to like shoot him.
Yeah. Like Davey's never had any qualms about playing those ways.
No. And
I remember
Angel,
he wanted to.
Angel would never do that. He was like, nope, I'm playing my hardest no matter what. And
it's the only way.
Actually, there's 2 pictures of you in this. I got another full page of you. And then you got also an article from Tim and or Sam and Pat, and about the stats.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so a little piece there.
They put a lot of time
in games. That's antiquated, dude. Like,
no, I don't know.
The last time we even discussed that, like,
I remember
it's always like after the fact. It's like, if then whatever.
Yeah. Davey wanted us to throw a 7-man game when we were on the All-Americans, throw a 7-man game to keep the Ironman out the one year because they were like leading the series by so much. We ended up not doing it. But then the next event, they ended up going like 2-6 in the prelims and like losing the series anyway.
Dude, that was crazy. I've got actually the Commander's Cup. It's the one trophy I have in here, or the only one that I own. And it was that year when I think it was was that the last year of the MPPL? I don't know. Maybe not.
I mean, no, because the MPPL just pattered and had different owners and fell apart.
Right.
It might have been the last year of real MPPL.
Yeah. So the Ironman basically had the whole thing locked up.
Yep.
They would have had to finish dead last, and we would have had to win dead last.
Yep.
And like literally, like I don't know what happened, but like Commander Mo came down from heaven and like smited the Ironman, and then somehow, yeah. And crazy. Not only that, Impact also made the top 4, but they had to get 4th. So they were playing Hurricanes for 3rd and 4th, and Hurricanes had to beat Impact also for us to win the series. So like we had to win. Impact had to do worse than 3rd, and Ironman had to get dead last, and all those things happened.
Yeah, I think it's a testament. You were just saying the Hurricanes and Impact, and it's a testament to how cool paintball is that we've had this many people that refuse to leave it.
It's the best, dude.
Like we have double-digit players who have played pro for 20 plus years. Like you'll soon be probably in the 20s. Like that's crazy. That's a Tom Brady like career on multiple people, because that's how fun it is in a sport that isn't crazily financially beneficial. I mean, like, yeah, some players are lucky enough to scratch a living together doing it, but I don't think anyone doubts that they could be better financially benefited working outside the industry. But
yeah,
it doesn't
I mean,
matter
look,
because
you
you
and me
get so
came
much
from the
more
same-
out of it.
We came from the same time period, basically,
Yeah.
where paintball isn't like, it's like our identity. You know, it's not just a thing we do. It's not our job. It's like it's become who we are. Like it goes deeper than just like, you know, it's the sport I play.
I'm not gonna lie, it hurts me sometimes when because you're like always, and you gotta rah your own team, you know, you gotta talk down. It is a mental game, but like when you're like, oh yeah, you know, the Heat guys, they only play for money, but if you play for Dynasty, we don't have money, you know. It's like,
well, you're not included in that.
I know. But it is a big difference for every individual, right? Because there are some players that are just playing for money, and then there's others that, yeah, it's great if they can make money.
Just because you play and get paid and you play for money, and doesn't mean that you don't love any less.
No,
J-Rab and fucking Mouse and those guys who play for money, for sure, that's their main driving motivating factor. Dude, those guys love it too.
Yep.
Just as much as we do, man. They're just, you know. So I'm not taking that part.
No, I agree.
Just because they're like a little bit of a mercenary doesn't mean that they're not like cut from.
And I know there's a lot of times like, you know, I could have made a lot more money in my career, even just, you know, jumping around teams, but it's just not what I ever wanted to do. Cause, you know, I like building something and winning with what I built, which is why I respect a lot of what you guys have done.
I mean, have you ever switched teams other than from All-Americans to Heat, which is basically the same team?
Well, I didn't switch from All-Americans to Heat because, the only time I switched was
Impact.
So,
yeah, that's right.
So I All Ace 2 turned into Miami Effect. I got traded from Miami Effect to go to Philly. Smart Parts went
hotel
bankrupt.
lobby.
Yeah, Smart Parts went bankrupt. Yeah, because I played, you know, 05 Chicago with Miami Effect for the first half, and then I finished it playing with Philly. But then, you know, Smart Parts goes bankrupt. So Philly Americans, we tried to keep it together, whatever. I tried to buy us to replace the Ironman. Didn't want to do that. You know, we hoped that Adam could pull through and make it work still, which is why like now you see players leaving the day after World Cup, like a week after World Cup. Those conversations were had long before World Cup then. So it's like people could be sad when those people leave, but if they were already mentally checked out, then you don't want them to be a part of your team anyway. But, you know, we didn't have a player leave our roster in 09. We already knew Smart Parts was bankrupt and it was a long shot, but we didn't have a player leave the roster until middle of January. And like I think Jason was the first person that left our team. And, you know, he even called me and Tim, and me and Tim were basically like, you know, at this point in time, like, no, we want you to go. And then we started telling everyone like, hey, start pursuing your other options. And I wasn't sure where I wanted to go. With Tim, I was really impressed with him because he was very selfless in that. You know, he had a lot better offers at the time than to go to Aftershock, who was in the middle of, you know, pretty long losing streak and not the prestige team it once was, but he chose to go there because he was able to bring, you know, 3 other guys with him. I was having a hard time deciding where I was going to go, choosing between a lot of people. I think I even talked to you guys for a little bit, and, you know, I gave, you know, recommended Chad George to you guys. Even I know it wasn't his best year of his career ever there, but like he definitely learned a lot from you guys there too. So he ended up going there, and I was on Bart called me kind of out of the blue, and I had, you know, gotten to be friends with Justin Cornell, Joshua Met, and the Yakamax, like really good over in Europe, just over, you know, those time between games where you get to spend time with people that you don't normally see, but then you're all of a sudden now more attracted to them because no one else like even speaks your language. So you just, you know, it's like a forced friendship that becomes a true friendship. So when Bart called, like, you know, we had a couple hour conversation and, you know, it just felt right. So I decided to go there. We win the first tournament I ever play with them. You know, a couple days later, I break my jaw. A couple days later, we get second place to you guys in Huntington Beach. And I played there for 4 years. And in a lot of ways, I could have seen myself finishing my career there. But now I've been on Heat since 2014. So the longest of any team I've ever been on, you know, and coming to Heat was part of a package deal. So it was a really hard decision. And if I was ever making it for myself, I probably wouldn't have quit just because like I said, I don't like quitting things like that, but it was a package deal the way it was presented. And it was an opportunity to bring a lot of players that were on Philly back together after, you know, 5 years. And, you know, I took the chance to go and it's worked out well. And now I have the opportunity to help build it into a successful franchise again because we've struggled for the last few years. All of our fault, mine included, and we have to break out of that. And it was time for a change because we weren't being successful anymore. But now that presents us with the opportunity to, prove ourselves again and go out there. So yeah, one team. I've quit one team in my life.
I mean, and you are you're the heart and the cornerstone of that team for sure. I mean, we tried to pick you up. Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, a couple. You've asked a couple times, but like I don't enter.
But look, I mean, and that's one of the things. Like, I appreciate that about you. You're like, this is my team, right?
Yeah.
And they're my guys.
Well, I just try not to entertain. I don't want to parse deals against each other. I don't want to entertain something. So like, I don't have a conversation with something unless I'm already kind of deciding that I'm willing to do it. I don't want to hear it sometimes. And I think that's sometimes why I don't get offers, which is fine for me because I don't care. I'm comfortable in my own skin and stuff like that. I know who I am as a player, but
what is going on over there right now? Like, I feel that, like, this is my observation of it, that there's been an intentional culture shift where there's like, we're going to do it. We're going to take this other group of guys and we're going to do it a little bit of a different way. Like, we're just going to kind of roll with the punches and accept when it happens. Because the last couple of years, like, honestly, from the outside, it seemed like not so much fun. It seemed like if you didn't win, it was the fucking end of the world. Like, I mean, just seeing like your guys' body language after like, getting knocked out of a tournament at some point was just like catastrophe, right? Instead of like, oh, let's all go out and get a couple beers and like have there'll be a tournament in another couple of months and we'll just play that one, that wasn't the attitude, right? And I was like, these last few tournaments, like, I feel like it's gonna click eventually, right? Like, I think it kind of takes like, just look at Diesel, right? Like, even with all-star players, it took 2 years to start. I mean, they haven't won a tournament, but they're like they're at the point now where they're like confident that they can.
I mean, I think you guys are a better example at 2016-ish, 2017. People are saying that you guys should all retire, that you were over the hill, that you didn't have it anymore. And then you went on one of the, best runs of any team that's ever come.
But that wasn't because of the players we had. It was because of the amount of time we had been together. Yes. Even with the old school guys, we had like a different core.
Yep.
Like,
it was I think in that, to answer your question, our strength became our weakness in a sense. Like, our strength was the fact that, Sarge is really loyal. We had a very consistent roster for a long period of time. And when you're not living close to each other, that's more important because you need your time on the field to stack on top of each other. You can't rely on like a time on the field from 1 year if you're spread out across the country, right? You need that innate knowledge of someone, knowing their body language, knowing what they're thinking before they're thinking it, knowing them deeper than most people will ever have a chance to know them, which lets you know how their mind works. And that's great when you're winning. But when you're losing, that can cause doubt in people's mind and cause frustration, and the people you're closest with, you can get resentment towards. And I'm not saying that's even what it was, but it's like, you have so many close losses in a row. You lose a lot of 1-point games on Sunday. And it almost becomes like, instead of playing to win as a team, it feels like people are playing to not lose. And if you play to not lose, you'll never win. If you don't have 5 people out there, looking for every single opportunity that presents itself, then you're not going to win. And it got to the point where, like you said, like, it's a lot of pressure, but sports should be pressure because sports are about, production. And especially when you're on a team that gets paid, it's not like, not afraid of losing my job or not doing that. I'm afraid of, not producing for someone who's put the faith in me and the time and effort and money and energy behind us and the belief behind us, and failing is just a bad feeling because it's not about like, oh yeah, we'll go get them next time. It's about like, man, we failed again at this task that we're trying to do. And we're putting all of our heart and sweat and tears into it. So it's not about like, it's not like, oh, like I'm pissed that I didn't win. It's just like, it's just disappointment, right? And disappointment on top of disappointment on top of disappointment builds. And if you don't make changes on a team, then, and I'm not saying like the changes we made are good or bad, because you can make any changes, but there comes a point in time if you consistently do the same thing, and if you're consistently not winning close games against good teams, that a change has to be made, because you need to find outward motivation. And because complacency isn't like lack of effort or lack of this, but sometimes it's just is what it is. It's like people are so used to being around each other and what to expect from each other that you need something else to push you to the next level, because you could stay even keeled and still lose all the time, because like the game is constantly evolving. So if you're not evolving with it, or if you're not evolving before it to change the curve of paintball, then you're kind of doomed to failure. And if you don't make those changes, it's tough. So yeah, I mean, obviously our team could have went a lot of different ways, and the way it was decided upon was to, go younger with some of it, keep some experience there. And it's really worked out well, I think. I mean, not on the field, because I'm not happy with our results yet, but as a culture, I'm very happy with it, because the people are there with the same mission. No one's, going against the grain. Everyone wants to build in the same way. Everyone's putting in the effort. Everyone is pushing each other. The young guys push us, but people always push old guys to go out, because it's like everyone's always trying to replace you. People push young guys to go out too. People just don't realize that, because when a young guy comes in and goes out, they're just forgotten. Mm-hmm. But this is always happening in paintball. So like people are always nipping at everyone's heels. So you need like young guys to maybe kind of give you a different idea of something. But even if they don't, like, it allows you the opportunity to teach, and teaching helps you learn more than anything, in my opinion. So it's like that gives the older guys more motivation, because the younger guys motivation, it melds minds and thought processes. And I think out of everything that's really good, other than how we treat each other, is how we communicate. And to already communicate so well with not have that much field time together, I'm really happy with. So I think like we can fix a few small things, and then we can start winning those games. And once you win, winning's contagious. And sometimes it's just that one little win that you have to have, or that one little moment that you have to have, that changes, careers or seasons at least.
Yeah, I mean, that's well said. And I think that's, wise words, especially from like the experience of your team and your situation over the past few years. And my dad said the same thing. He said, you do the same thing the same way, you're going to get the same result. Mm-hmm. And, you've got to be able sometimes to like unlearn what you've learned, or take a couple steps back. Mm-hmm. You have to get worse before you get better. And, and yeah, I feel like that's important. And that's what we've done. That's what you guys have done several times, like individually and as a team. That's why I love that Fit is winning. Like they did, like, dude, I
did it the right way.
I don't want to lose to those guys, but they're the best right now. Like there's no doubt. Like even in the
World Cup, and then
even within a microcosm, watching the way that Stuart played Axel in that one-on-one, mm-hmm. I was like, dude, he just.
That's confidence, though. That's the difference of winning and losing, because when you trust your instincts and you don't like hesitate, and you believe that you're going to win, your chances exponentially increase. You could be the worst team, and if you truly believe that you're going to go out there and win, like when I was on Miami Effect, we sucked. I thought we were going to win every game, and the games were closer because of that. Mm-hmm. If you're going to beat me 90 times out of 100, but if I truly believe it, that might change to 20 or 30 times out of 100. You like belief and trusting yourself really does. And it's just a swagger, and it's contagious too, because it's not just individually in your own head. It's how it just innately feels around you, right? If you can see belief in everyone around you, that's kind of one of those senses that aren't like, not one that we technically perceive, but I think it's a real tangible thing that's there, because you can feel it. Like you can feel when something's down or up, and you just need it, and you can see it too.
Yeah, and how hard it is to win like one of these, dude.
It's hard to win one. Winning really 3 in a row is crazy, And like you said, they were a wild card team. It was out of their hands whether they made it or not.
That was the most impressive win I've seen from them, though. To come back after barely making it and just slaughter the 2 teams they lost to in the prelims.
Yeah. And I think it's cool. Like, last year wasn't their first year pro. Like they were great last year, but their first year pro, they were kind of awful. And they got relegated. And they beat the crap out of teams, earned their way back, stayed together, built their own system, believed in that they were doing things the right way. Like, you have to respect people, but you have to know that you're doing it the right way. And it doesn't have to be the right way for everyone, but it has to be the right way for you, and it has to be the right way for everyone around you.
Yeah, and they didn't look at it and go like, oh, we need a Fedorov or we need a mouse. Like, they didn't like.
We'll build that. We'll build that.
Yeah,
totally. Because it's a shortcut to pick up players like that sometimes, and sometimes it overall ends to like a better culture, and sometimes it ends to a worse. But when you build it yourself, like, you can kind of control it. But that doesn't mean like anyone who does what Fit does is going to be successful, because, you know, thousands of teams have tried that and haven't been successful. So they were, you know, like, uniquely motivated. They were uniquely headstrong, but they were uniquely talented to do that too. And you have to have all those things and stay together to be successful. And they have, and that's cool. Cause I think you can be really good emulating someone, but you can never be great.
Yeah. Now they have a system. Like, now they're like, if they lose a guy, they'll be fine. You know?
Yeah.
They're like, I feel like they're dialed.
And that's, that was shown with Colt's injury and stuff. They're building depth. They're building depth, and they're a good team. So they're in our bracket this next event. I'm excited because I haven't played them since, I don't think we played them since they've been back in pro. So I'm pumped to get to play them again. You know, it's crazy. You know, there's only 19 other teams, but sometimes you don't see any for certain teams for a couple of years. And, you know, styles make fights too.
Yeah, that is crazy. Like, there's certain teams we just don't play very much.
Yep. And it changes year to year sometimes, but it's like, and then the next time you play them, it's like, oh, I don't really know what to expect. Because you can watch people. It's not the same as being on the field with them.
Totally.
Something I wanted to kind of talk more about, not trying to cut this conversation off, but Alex, you've just been like, I really enjoy being in your presence. You're one of the nicest, most genuine people on and off the field. I've seen you get overshot, and there's never a rise out of you. You're just like, you have this little funny comment that's not.
You didn't know Alex when he was younger.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's the thing. Like, dude, I've changed a lot since I was younger. I used to be this young, little angry, like Napoleon, like little prick guy, right? That was super competitive and like, you know, angry and, you know, but now you're right. Like, I get a bonus ball and I'm like, hey man, just do that to me all you want. Just leave Greenspan alone. He can't handle it.
Yeah.
So give me those bonus balls.
Life is really about just, you know, changing to all of your lessons that you've learned though. Like, every time people bonus ball me and then apologize, I'm like, why do I care? I've been shot tens of thousands of times. Like, that doesn't.
My favorite though is you bonus ball someone and then like on purpose, and then you tell them sorry. You're like, oh, sorry.
I don't do that. If I bonus ball people, which I do sometimes, like, I want them to know that I did it intentionally.
Yeah.
Like, I don't try to do it.
I'm like, I'm really,
I know you.
Yeah, I'm fast like that. Like, it's a mind game, right? Like,
it is.
Yeah.
And it can be just as much of a mind game to like not bonus ball someone. Like, I feel like if you bunker someone and you have them like clean as day and you shoot them one time in the pack, like,
oh, for sure.
Like, that's almost more disrespectful. That's so much more. Yeah. It's
way more.
Yeah. It's
they didn't even give you the respect, dude. They didn't even give you the respect.
And you have to know like how every person differs and what rise you're going to get out of people.
Totally.
From the conversations before the games to after to what you do on the field to them. Like, some people you're going to bring the best out of them by shooting them 30 times in the face, and other people they're going to crumble.
Yeah, I feel like if someone gets to bunker me, which is rare, I mean, I'm coming over if I know I'm the last guy, I'm just coming over the top of
protect yourself. Like,
but anyway, if someone like shoots me once in the pack, it's like, dude, that is just, I'm shamed. Anyway, I remember getting behind the soil one time in this woods ball tournament. This was like fairly recently. And I was like, dude, I saw him and I'm like, dude, I'm never going to have this chance again, dude. I just wanted to light him the fuck up. I just shot him once. I should have just roasted him.
But that would have made him happy.
I know.
But it's like, you just have this persona, and it's kind of like what I see very similar being around Ryan, you know, it's just this you're at peace. It seems like very much all the time. and you genuinely want the best. And that's why I was really excited to have you on. You're just a good, genuine, salt of the earth being. And it's just, it's fantastic to see in the sport, especially this day and age, because everyone's entitled, or so they think, right? But I think that's part of being the old guard of what y'all are, right? Like you're leading the charge and setting the examples.
Before you go on, though, I would like to say what you said is really tough for me because, and I'd like to hear your perspective on it, Alex. But like, I don't treat kids the same way I was treated at all when I was coming up, and I don't know if that's for the good or the bad because I was kind of treated poorly coming up, from but not in a bad way. That makes you tough. That pushes some people out, and sometimes I wonder if we coddle kids too much. I don't know if it's just the changing of the times.
We have to evolve, man.
I agree.
And do you watch The Last of Us?
Yeah, a little bit.
Right,
I didn't watch the
my favorite episode was the one where they flash back to what's the protagonist's name? The guy.
I haven't watched it in like 2 years since the first season.
You haven't watched the second season?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
You can tell me.
This episode where they go back and they have like, why can't I think of his name? Anyway, the main dude, and it goes back to when he was a kid and his relationship with his father, right? And his father wasn't a great father. He was like he beat his kids. He like was a drunk, but he was doing his best, right? And he sat down after the kid had really fucked up something he got caught with weed or something like that. And he said, look, he thought he was going to get beat by his dad. Right. And his dad said, look, I'm just trying to do a little better than my dad did here. I know I'm not the best, but I'm trying to do a little better. Right. And that comes full circle eventually to where he's talking to Ellie and he's like, cause Ellie's like kind of like his surrogate child.
Yeah.
And that's the thing here is like, look, yes, because my parents got divorced, it like taught me a lesson, right? It makes me like very like aware of, what I'm doing in my relationship because the fucking guys on Bob Long's Ironman were dicks to me. And, I was aware of that. And I was like, I don't want to be like that. Right. Even though what we learn is typically what we do, right? So like it's innate that the way we're treated is the way we're going to treat other people, especially when we're young. So like if those guys hazed us and were dicks to us, it makes our propensity much greater to go do that to the next generation also. Unless you're aware of your why you want to do things the way your mind is telling you to do them, right? And if you have that awareness and you lean into it and you do that personal discovery, then you realize that there's a way to improve it, right? And I feel like, our generation has done a really good job of like not being dicks to the kids, right? And that is definitely good. And yeah, you could say, oh, it makes them soft or whatever. But nah, I don't think that's it. Like these guys, the kids that are gonna rise to the top are the kids that want to, that love it.
Yeah, because I don't look at my career and ever think that someone made me or not. Like I would like to think that I could have been successful without that because it was what my heart desired.
I'll tell you this though, like I've known people that have left and quit that could have been great players because people were assholes to them, right? And I feel like
So I guess. Now that you said that, I do completely agree with you, but I guess I'm going to change my perspective on how I look at it and say, I guess the only thing that's really important to me is like being my true self. So like the way that makes me feel right now is treating kids the way I treat them, like, giving people the knowledge that I have when I have it and when I have the time to do it, because it's what I feel is right. But if someone else wants to haze people and do that too, and if that's their true self, that's probably the right way to go too, because faking is probably the worst for everything because you can smell that.
Right. But you need to be accountable for your actions. Like if you do that to people, like, don't be mad when you get punched in the face or don't be mad when you get cut off the team. Like, I mean, dude, but we like just beyond paintball as a species and as a society, we have to improve on what our predecessors did or else we're doomed. So,
well, it's like,
you know,
culturally, you look at it a lot of times when like there's hard times, like the saying, like hard times create weak men create hard times. It just is a cycle, because and it is true, because
it makes sense. I'm not in love with the saying, but I understand.
I know I'm not in love with the saying either, but it does make sense in the sense of like, no, I want to make this better for someone. Sometimes you make it too easy. I'm not talking about paintball in this aspect, but like in a lot of aspects of life, you see that in it, and you see things go on cycles of ups and downs because of that.
Yeah, I mean, if things are too easy for somebody, then they're gonna get to the top and have a rude awakening, right? Like,
yeah, and I think it still comes down to individual.
If you're a race car driver and they just let you get first place every time, then when you get to the real show in NASCAR, you're gonna lose and get your ass kicked, and then your career is gonna be over.
Yep.
Right. Like, you know, that's just the way. Like in paintball, if you're coddled, in life, if you're coddled, you know, and you don't go through the trials and tribulations of whatever thing it is, you don't put in your 10,000 hours, then you're not going to succeed.
But it's important to say, like, you don't need to add to those trials and tribulations, because they're kind of naturally occurring anyway. So you might as well, you know, pull someone out of a ditch instead of kicking someone into it, and let them fail on their own terms, instead of, you know, being the reason that pushes them out.
And dude, I get a huge pump out of, like, you know, watching a guy like Chad George win. I'm like, dude, like, that's a guy I like. That's a guy who I've like helped like along the way, right? Like, there's guys that, like, even Tauntauns, dude, they beat us. Like, we kind of got hosed on a call in that game, and like, dude, I was like stoked for him still. You know, we were knocked out of the tournament, and I'm like, we're out. Like, good for those guys. You know, like that's like, that wouldn't have been me 10 years ago. Like, I've evolved from that. You know, that
noticeably too.
Yeah, and also, yeah, for sure. Like, going to the tournaments, I mean, you can relate to this. You like to have a good time. You got, you know, you have a family at home. You have a job. You've got real responsibilities. Like, dude, going to a paintball tournament is, I'm on borrowed time, bro. Like, look, I'm trying my hardest to win and contribute to the team, but my number one goal is to have fun and like see all the guys and hang out.
I agree in a sense, but I also look at it a little differently. That I think that when you're actually having fun, you're going to be more successful, because the stress kind of melts away when you're actually enjoying something. You don't think about like the repercussions of failure. You don't think about like the pressure that's actually on you, because you're really having fun. So like, I've kind of looked at that in that way in a while. Like, I like having conversations with people when I'm there. I like doing things. I like smiling. I like being happy, because that makes me able to perform at my best too.
Yeah, and you can't force that, right? And that's one of the things I really took umbrage with about how Heat was, right? Because you guys are all my friends, right? And I'd go to I'd go like to talk to Tyler at the tournament, and like, I'd be like, "What up, bro?" Like, blah blah blah, shooting the shit, like, you know, telling some jokes or whatever. And he was like fucking shut down and weird. And I'm like, dude. And he's like, yeah, like treating it like, you know, this is my job and this is what I have to do to this is how I have to be to get it done. You know?
And if we were winning, like, that would have never had to happen. But then you lose, and then if you're losing, and it just gets misrepresented what that actually is sometimes.
For sure. And like, I mean, people are like losing isn't fun. Losing isn't fun, dude. When you're out at a paintball tournament and you get knocked out of the tournament and you're partying on Saturday or Sunday night and you got anything other than first place, you're still having fun, bro. Yeah. And I remember sitting with B Short, and we were like, we got knocked out, didn't even make the Sunday games in Texas, and we're wasted. And I'm like, dude, who said losing wasn't fun? Yeah, just you know, having the best time ever.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. I mean, of course, dude,
I definitely have tried to appreciate every moment that I have.
No, you do,
because you never know when it ends now. Like, so like, even when we get kicked out, like, man, I'm emotional. Like, I'll need a moment to myself. I'll shed a tear. I'll be very frustrated, but like, that doesn't mean I want to instantly leave the field. Like, because, you know, we get to do this now 5 times a year, and like, why leave something when you put so much effort into being there in the first place just because you failed? You
get it, bro. You have for a long time. You know,
yeah,
and that's you're preaching to the choir. But
I would like to know your perspective on something, because my perspective comes from a completely different thing. But like, you know, when the NXL was in a media blackout and they were trying to build up its own things, like, I was playing under the side where it's like, great, like, I have the chance to win one event a year.
Yeah.
And like, and I have to watch you guys in all the magazines, all the videos, like winning everything, having fun, like traveling around, doing it all. And that had to be great. But was it like not quite as rewarding not having like all the competition together?
Oh,
because
for
it was
sure,
even
dude.
for us. Like, it's like, man, it's like, yeah, like we'd be bad company for like the sixth time in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, no
Like,
doubt. It wasn't as fulfilling. Like,
yeah.
and we had practiced Bob's guys who were like one of the better teams in that
Yeah.
all the time, right? And like, you just know, like, it would have been a different story if all the other players were in there. So, and we wanted to, I mean, I'm a competitor, like, to win. I don't want to just like,
No,
play
you
a
don't
watered down
want
competition.
your peers either saying like, well, you're winning because of this.
Yeah. Oh, I don't
And you
care.
don't
I don't give a shit what they say.
No,
what I do
but
care about is actually winning.
what you know.
Yeah. If I want to win something, I want to beat the best guy.
And the same thing, like
That's
we took umbrage at the fact that
Yeah.
like when you guys came into the league, everyone's like, oh yeah, Dynasty and Excess was going to win everything. They always win everything. I was like, they only play each other. You know? It's like,
Yeah. I mean, we're all good teams, but yeah,
Yeah.
like, you got to say if there were 10 top level teams, 8 of them weren't in the tournament.
Correct.
So yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have gone the way it did.
It just spreads out. Yeah. Well, either way, like I said, like the 50 wins thing, or like, you know, most winningest team of all time. Like I would have argued like some of those wins were the same as when I look at the back of the All-Americans truck and they're like, oh, we played this Fox 4 3-man. Like
whatever, dude. That
no. But
the most winningest team and most winning
no,
tournament.
you guys are now though. But I'm saying like
whatever. Even any of that shit, I don't care about. Like that's
no, I know
that's
you don't.
not-
I know you
That's
don't.
not my legacy as a paintball player.
Of course
is
not,
winning.
of course
Like
not.
I just
Your
don't see
legacy
that.
is your character and your heart.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, like, I would have argued that for a little bit, but like your guys' most recent run and longevity to me matters more. Like peak performance longevity. Like you can be around a long time and have up and down, but to be at the top for that amount of time is something truly special in any sport. And I respect anyone who does it. So like, I hate seeing you guys win, but at the same time, I love it because I love you guys individually.
Yeah,
you know, like I hate it as a competitor, but love you as a person. But like seeing, like I hate also people disrespecting people that I know are still so talented, right? So like when people were like, oh, these guys should retire, and they just look at age, be like, how about you look at, you know, performance? How about you do that? So like I liked seeing you guys being able to prove people wrong in that aspect, and I want to continue to do that as well.
Yeah, and I hope all those guys that can still have any gas in their tank just keep it going. You know, like this is a sport that you can still. You don't need to be in top physical peak shape to be able to be competitive. You know, it's a craftsman's game. Like
it helps. It helps, but the mind helps more.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, I mean, that's it, man. You got it. And
but you say that, but a lot of us are still playing the one. You know, so the way I see it, you're
still
still the one.
It's harder to
I know.
get to the spot.
I know. I was just saying, like we're only a third of the way through our career, right? We haven't even moved to the 2 yet.
Dude, look at Shane Howe, bro.
Exactly.
My nickname for him is the Canary. So, like, you know, in the coal mine, they bring the canary down, and if the canary dies, they're like, "Oh, it's toxic gas. We got to get out of here."
Yeah.
So once Shane Howe stops, we're all doomed.
Well, I've talked to him. I don't think he's stopping for any time soon.
He's deep into his 50s now.
Yeah. As long as he's welcome, he's coming.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, he doesn't get many spins at the tournament, but he helps his team. He's got experience. He tells the guys he's got value, dude. Like
I preached that for a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
You could be the worst player in the league and make the best team better, and you could be the best player in the league and make the best team worse. Just how it is.
Yeah.
Because
never heard that, yeah, that's good. I like that.
If you can, because the culture matters so much. How people feeling, how people are thinking, how people trust each other, how much fun they're having. That all matters so much more than what. Because, you know, we have big rosters, so you can have 5 good people on the field with or without that. So you want everyone to be there looking out for each other, wanting to make each other better, to push yourself. You don't want, I've seen so many teammates on teams in the past, on my teams and other teams that, you know, are rooting for their teammates to fail so that they can have a chance. That's not the way you should ever look at it. You have to want the best for them so that you can get the best out of yourself. And in a true meritocracy with a good coach, you hope they see that and put the best people in at the same time. And you hope that the people that aren't in support the ones that are, because that's what makes a true team. People that are looking out for them for the betterment of the whole team, not themselves. So it's like sometimes you could go out there and be an MVP, and other times you have to be the person that maybe says something to the person that's going to go out there, be the MVP, make sure that everything's cleaned up, make sure that people's attitudes are in check. And that all leads to the same win or the same loss.
Dude, you're so, and that's the politics of a team, right? Mm-hmm. The personalities, the reasons that they're there, all that stuff, dude. Like, I remember talking to Jesse Stevens, like, he's so frustrated that he wasn't getting playing time. Like, dude, it's gonna come, dude. Just hang in there. And like this last tournament, he was the guy, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I was so stoked for him. I'm like, look, man, just you can't worry about that. Like, I know it's the ego, right? But you just have to realize that it's a team.
It is the hardest thing to battle, though, because like we said, like confidence is maybe the most important thing in the sport. So if you start losing that,
yeah,
it's pretty hard to get back. So it is a fine balance that you have to fight, and everyone does it differently.
Yeah, and I mean, shit. I was just thinking, like, yeah, you, Chad, Ronnie, right? We try to grab him too.
Yep.
That dude's
he's a stud, man. He's a stud. It's cool because like I got to see him like from the beginning. Like he was just one of those guys. You're like, oh, like I hope he sticks around. Like he could be good.
Yeah.
So, like he's so talented, man. And the thing about Ronnie is his drive is just, you know, kind of unmatchable. Like he loves it so much. He wants to be involved in it, and he puts in the effort. You know, every player.
He's one of those guys that gives back too. Like he's and especially with the Blast Camp guys. Even when he was on Heat, like he was always out with those guys.
And I think a lot of them would give him credit for helping them. You know, like he's out there every weekend, like making them better, and then to the point where you know their team's beating up on him and his squad of guys that are around there that weekend, and now they're teammates together. But you know, like we just had practice and flew back. I worked today. You know, and talking to Ronnie, like he's back at the field because he cares that much. And you could look at Ronnie and like some people would maybe look at him like he's a young guy because he's surrounded by guys who've maybe played a little longer. But like, man, Ronnie's now been pro for, I don't know, like 13 years too.
Yeah. Like in my mind, he's still like a young guy.
Yeah, exactly. But like, that's like longer careers than anyone that you like would have looked up to back in the day ever had. So it's like the people that were legends before us didn't even have like a career as long as someone now that you look at as not.
He gave me one of my biggest stokes ever. I remember seeing him win and him with his dad, and I was balling watching that. I was so happy for those guys, man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I was just like, I didn't really know them that well. I just, watched.
But you can see real emotion and like real moments like that are special.
Well, I do want to ask, I know we want to be considerate of your time. I know you're busy. We both know you're a busy man. Can we kind of touch on everything that like the businesses that you've brought to the sport or things that you have your hand in? I think that's a big thing because everything you're doing is great. And I just kind of want to give a shout out to all that because I think it's important part of the things that are going on that most people may not know.
Yeah. I mean, we got the team, obviously it all started with that. So we want to own our own team. So we were able to make that happen. That's another story, a long story for another time, but yeah, we were able to somehow own our own team. And then eventually, started the gun company. We didn't start it, actually. It was Bob Long's company that we bought from him.
Okay.
Which has been a struggle, but we're still in business somehow. We have a good product that works, and that's, we're not the best business people, but we're still making working guns, which is great. We stand behind. It's Ryan, you can relate to this. I mean, when you send guns into those guys, like you got more head and these guys that know their shit working on them, which is cool, right? You have guys that care and know. That's kind of what we based our gun company around. And then, the Hormesis thing was just me and Oliver not talking for like 5 years, basically, just because he moved away. Like we'd say what's up every once in a while, but he reached out and said, hey, during COVID, I got this thing going over here. I think it would be really cool if we made these headbands. And it was kind of just perfect timing and really took off and love doing that. Super fun. And then the magazine. So just a lot of projects that I'm stoked on. I mean, now like the day-to-day with Hormesis is hard. It's running a company and trying to we've got a couple people working for us. So I got to keep it going for all of those reasons. And it's become more of a business rather than an art project. But I mean, I like really do enjoy, being around it. Like I get to come in and see Yosh every day, which
Yeah.
you know, we have lunch together and shoot the shit, and dude, it's a win. You know,
how did your brick and mortar store for Horvisas go? Because I know you opened up one in San Francisco for a month or two, right?
Oh, it went well. I mean, it was just a pop up, but
yeah,
we did. I don't know. I want to say we did like 30 grand in sales or something over a month and a half.
Yeah, it's probably like $500 from paintball players, and like we had of course,
paintball players came in.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of like mobile shopping appointments with paintball players.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, Oliver was living in San Francisco, which we were footing the bill for, and you know, it was
that was something you did for your own project.
It was fun. It was fun to have it.
Yeah,
and it looked really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. But yeah, definitely not. Our business wasn't really structured to do that. So
no.
It was cool though, having like going into the store and seeing the stuff, and
I mean, seeing your own brand have that in a city like that, it has to be pretty cool.
Totally. Yeah, and people like that. I mean, people would walk in off the street and buy something. You know, and it's a good story. Paintball, like not even paintball related. Like it's all 100%. Like it's all natural fabrics dyed with like in the jungle by the indigo leaves that they had just taken off the plants. Like like very very primal like way they putting each stamp on individually like with beeswax and burning it off like it's like handmade organic thing, which people
great story at the right time too, right? Like you do something like that in the 90s, it probably fails. You do it now, it's successful. You do it in the 60s, it's successful.
Yeah,
you do it in the 40s, it's not. Like things change.
Yeah, you gotta just know your audience, I guess.
Yeah, and
that's awesome.
No, yeah, and I think everything that you're doing is just it's fantastic. So I'm excited to see you successful. It seems like what you put your hand into, you have the fire in your heart to drive your mind to create the success, and I think that's a really important thing. A lot of people need to take away out of life. Like y'all were talking about earlier. Trials, life is going to give you enough trials and tribulations. A place that you want to enjoy, it doesn't have to. A trial and tribulation doesn't have to be there. Those opportunities will come up where you have to face those head on. But that's kind of life, right? And I think your heart and your mind's always in the right place, and you just have this amazing fire about you that is great, and what I appreciate most about you. And so I think it's just fantastic everything you're doing. You're being successful at it, and that's a very seldom that's a story that's very seldom with most people's journey, right? There's a lot of failures, there's a lot of ups and downs, and there's ups and downs, but a lot of people will crumble with those failures, and I don't even think that's within your spectrum because of where your heart and mind is at. So no, you're just a fantastic human being, and I appreciate the time that you've given us.
Thanks, Al. That means a lot, man. And yeah, I mean, look, I've failed 9 out of 10 times. So that's just the way it is, right? Like you gotta to get the success, you gotta keep failing. So like, I mean, look, I just and also like what is success is it's a relative term. Like what is success? Winning the tournament? I don't know. Is success having a good time? To me, going to the tournament and winning the tournament and getting in arguments with my teammates is not success, right? Like, I mean,
you get to be your own barometer of success and not success. Totally.
And looking back at like at least recent history, the most successful tournament we had was that one in the red clay, which you guys won. I feel like that was our most successful tournament because that's where the team that's where we galvanized.
And those are the things that like externally people really never know, but internally you can feel the swift and the switch and the change of momentum. You ready?
Yeah, totally, man. Well, Hal, that means a lot. You guys are doing a good thing here. I hope you guys get some traction. Let me know, and I'll pump these out on the socials.
I appreciate you. I think in the long run, Hal asked me to start this with him, and it'd be great if we could grow it so more people could listen because I like sharing stories and having conversations with people. But we just want to do it the way we want, and if it's meant to be successful, people will tune in. We're not worried about like a certain growth at a certain time because I think if you enjoy doing something and you put the effort into it, it will grow naturally. So we'll just keep going at it like that. But I do appreciate all the time you spent with us. And, I want to just thank you more than anything for being yourself. And I hope to see you never retire. And I hope to never retire too. So forever young.
I'm just getting started, dude. I'm the future of the game.
Forever young.
That's right.
Maybe we'll play on an over 80s team together,
That's right.
But
So,
where did I put my pods?
But I do.
Put on your back.
But I do want to also, wish you the best luck at the next tournament as well.
You too,
and I hope
100%.
to see you in the finals, man.
Thank you.
Before I let you go, I usually pitch this to Ryan, but I think it's a great opportunity for you. Ryan knows what I'm going to ask. So I usually ask him to give some kind of dad slash life advice for anyone that's looking for like a pick me up or some just good knowledge. What would you have for someone?
So here's mine, right? So I change being a dad every time I think of have to. I change have to get. Mm-hmm. So like, I have to leave and go pick up my daughter from school. Actually, I get to leave and pick up my daughter from school. Right?
Oh, awesome.
Perspective. Just change have from have to get.
I love to hear that. Because
it's come in really valuable to me in like the challenges of parenting. Like, oh my God, my son's yelling. It's 5:30 in the morning. He wants me to come play with him. Right. Yeah. Right. That's a tough one. Right.
No, I do love to hear that because, my daughter turned 3 in April.
Precious moments.
And there's times it's like something can kind of weigh on you or kind of grind at you. But like, I think the same way, it's like, man, you're going to miss these times too. And you can make all these moments so special. So like, I'm going to be selfish in my own aspect to go out and do what I want to love to do. So when I'm home, I should be present and available and there and spend the quality time. So it's like, don't be mad because they're doing this or that. Be happy that they want and care enough to look up to you and want to spend every second with you and love you, like, wholeheartedly without any trepidations. It's like, it's special. So you're right. Like I never thought of it in those terms, but I love turning want to get because it is true. Like it's so special to get to spend time with them. And every time you spend with them, it's never the same the next time,
You got it, man.
That's it. So. Well, Alex, if they don't know where to find you, where can they find you?
Any socials or Hormesis Paintball at Gmail or alexfraige@me.com or whatever. I'll give you Ryan's phone number. No, just kidding.
Yeah. not mine though. Not mine.
And, I'm around. I'm easy to get hold of.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You can find me in the dead box. In the penalty box.
There you go. Well, thank you once again. Greatly appreciate you for making time for us. It means the world. And that's all I got. Ryan, you got anything?
End it out.
You guys are kings.